This is Small Talk with 101 ESPN's Michelle Smallman.
What's up, everyone? Welcome into episode 135 of Small Talk. Your host, Steve Ceruti and Michelle Smallman are here with you. What's up to our pod audience, and hello to our YouTube audience. I don't know why I just saluted our YouTube
wow.
audience. I was very official of me. But we are taping this on a Tuesday, and Steve, I appreciate that you're wearing your Baylor Bears green, a little homage to the Baylor Bears for winning their first ever men's national championship.
Yeah, but that's you weren't rooting for Baylor because you like Baylor, though. Let's be honest, right? You were rooting for Baylor for other reasons.
I had no horse in the fight, no dog in the horse in the fight. I had no dog in
horse
the
in the
fight.
race.
No horse
no
in the
dog
race.
in the fight.
This
Wow.
is like 2 weeks in a row where I cannot speak. Talking is hard. I couldn't remember where Russell Westbrook played or James Harden played. I mean, I had really lost my mind when I was naming NBA players. I went back and listened to that when I was editing it, and I'm like, you idiot. Of course James Harden plays for Brooklyn. Like, what is wrong with you? And today I can't speak either.
You know what's funny is I avoid figures of speech like that or expressions sometimes because I'm internally afraid that I'm going to fuck it up. So if you say dog in the fight, if I say that wrong, if I say horse in the fight, which makes zero sense, which is, I think, is that what you just said?
That's exactly what I just said, yeah.
I'm afraid that I'm constantly going to fuck those up. So I avoid phrases a lot of the time in conversation, including on this pod, because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, is this right? I'm sure it's right. I don't know. Because I don't use a lot of expressions in real life. Do you? So I'm not used to saying them. But some people I hear, they just throw them out left and right. Like my dad's an expression guy. He has all sorts of expressions. And I'm just not that way. And I get nervous that I'm going to screw it up. So I just don't say them.
Well, I just want you to know this is a safe space, okay? This is a safe space. Clearly, I mess everything up all the time. So feel free to throw them out there. And if you get them wrong, it's okay. Well, it's our communal mistake.
So if I drop a when in London, you're not going to make fun of me?
Oh, no,
Instead of when in Rome.
Make fun of you. I'll definitely make fun of you. But it's a safe space because we all make mistakes. Small talk, we are team not perfect. We know that no one's perfect and that everyone makes mistakes. And I mean, I just said horse in the race. So what are you going to do? But anyway, no, I was secretly cheering for Baylor because I had some sort of, my enthusiasm certainly corralled you to the Illinois side, and I convinced you to cheer for Illinois and pick them to win. You pick Gonzaga every year. So I was very much secretly hoping for our friendship that this was not the year that Gonzaga won, and I swayed you otherwise.
I was definitely rooting for Gonzaga. I would have been so bummed if they won. So I was somewhat relieved too last night that they lost because it would have been very me for the 1 year I did pick them for them to win it all. But I also really like that team. Like I love watching Jalen Suggs. I hadn't watched a lot of Baylor all year. Not that I watched a ton of Gonzaga games, but I did know more about them. I know obviously they got those two white dudes who are hilarious. And I just like their team. I just think they're funny. I like Mark Few. I just, that's kind of why I always pick them, but I really like Jalen Suggs because of the draft stuff, and he could potentially be a Magic player because they're going to have a top 5 pick because they're terrible. But it was nice to see them lose only because I would have been bummed out. But and also, even if I picked Gonzaga, I don't think I would have won my pool either. So it's all good. It's all good. We're fine. Happy for Baylor. I think Baylor has some of the most underrated swag, by the way, in all of sports. Because green and gold it's kind of an underrated color combination, I think, in sports. And they do it really well. They got good Nike jerseys. I need some, if there's any Baylor people out there, send me swag. I'll wear them on the show.
If it's free, it's me, right, Steve?
Yep. I'll wear whatever you give me, period. But specifically Baylor stuff.
No, you're right, though. When we were ranking uniform cities, we talked about Oakland and how great the A's uniforms are because of the green and gold combo. You're right. I'm surprised more schools haven't adopted that.
Green and gold?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't really change your colors. You are who you are. So
well, I know, but
like one day UConn, who's blue and red, could be like, you know what? I kind of like green. We're going to just switch it up. UConn, now Huskies, we're the green.
I just mean I'm surprised that in the inception of all of this, more schools weren't like, blue and white kind of played out. Maybe we should do green and gold. Look at what Baylor's doing. They look great.
Yeah, I agree. But there are just color combinations that, I don't know, maybe when these schools 100 plus years ago were being formed, they're different variations of the American flag, right? I would say 50% of the schools are some form of red, white, and blue, or mostly, you know what I mean? And that's kind of boring. Some of them do it better than I actually think, being in Connecticut, my wife went to UConn. I brought up UConn. They do red, white, and blue really well. And because they have kind of an old school vibe, they've got a good look to their logo and stuff, especially the old logo, not the new logo. But I've always wondered why, you're right, why more I don't know, teams don't experiment with colors. Although, you know what? I think you can go too far though, right? Because then now you've got like the Seahawks jerseys that have all sorts of like lime green in them. I've never liked the Carolina Panthers, which is like that weird bluish, it's like lightning blue. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So you can go too far, but I still think the gold and green is different, but still kind of classy enough to be like, ooh, I kind of like that. It's special, but it still looks good. What do you think is the best jersey? Here we go. We're going to go on a tangent, but I want to ask you this question.
Okay.
What do you think is the best jersey color combo? Like college, pro sports doesn't really matter. Like two colors together on a jersey. What do you think is the best? Because I think I have the answer, but I want to hear yours first.
So this is such a homer play, but I do love orange and blue together.
Nope.
Don't knock it till you've worn it for 4 years. It's actually a very versatile combo because you can work in white, you can work in orange or blue, 3 colors there. I really do like kind of a navy blue, whether it has white in the mix. You could always have a little black accent, maybe a silver accent, but that always is so classic.
I think it's navy. I think navy is the like, if that's your primary color, you're winning, period.
Yes.
And I think the secondary color that goes perfectly with it and is my number one would be gold. Navy and gold is the best color combination for a jersey there is. I think you look at Quinnipiac. Obviously, I went to Quinnipiac, so I'm biased. But Notre Dame, I think
is this because we got free Notre Dame swag from Tommy Reese?
No, and shouts out to Golick Jr. I know, like, it's this. We like you, but I'm not doing this because I'm trying to kiss your ass. I genuinely think that color combination is just the perfect color. And I'm wearing a hat kind of that's like that right now.
Yeah, right.
And it's a little bit off. It's not quite how I like the exact tones I would pick. But I think that just looks classic. It's just classic, and I love it. I think it looks great on a jersey.
Yeah, Notre Dame has the cleanest uniforms ever. I mean, there's nothing not awesome about, because Notre Dame has gold, they have white, they have the navy blue, and they have the Kelly green that they work in.
The green is sick too.
It's so sick. They're winning. I've never really seen a terrible Notre Dame uniform in any sport. Like, they are winning constantly.
The problem with Notre Dame, and apologies to Kevin Plank, the CEO at Under Armour, and Scott Van Pelt and all those Under Armour people out there, but I just don't think they make great jerseys. If Notre Dame had Nike jerseys, they'd be a million times better. That's the only downfall. But the color combination is very good. You know what I actually really like too? And because it's a different version of that, but Michigan, the maize and blue is great too. Great combination. Very good.
And it's their own. It's maize. It's not. It's not yellow and blue. It's maize and blue.
Hail to the victors.
Your Big Ten team.
Big Ten Steve, he's back.
Big Ten Steve, you try to suppress him so much, and Big Ten Steve always finds a way out. He always finds his way to the pod.
I'm going to embrace it going forward. I think I'm full on Big Ten.
I can't wait to get you in the Midwest. Someday you're coming to the Midwest and you're going to settle in here and be like, no, Madison was not a fluke. I am home.
Well, good news.
This is where I belong.
Good news is your boy got a needle in his arm and is vaccinated. So I am free to roam about the country in a couple of weeks. I got the Johnson & Johnson, 1 shot. We're done, ready to go.
Okay. How you feeling? Good.
I felt fine. My wife had about a 24-hour weird deal where she was just, I don't know, fever or whatever, sleepy, groggy, weak. But I felt fine. I actually had an eye twitch that I did not know if it was related to the shot or not, but it's gone. It was only for like 24 hours. So maybe that was like my one side effect maybe, but I don't feel any different. I feel good. I'm good to go. So I'm ready to travel the country whenever we're allowed to.
Oh my God, live pod, St. Louis, book it. Let's do it. Because I also am vaccinated. I am fully vaccinated. I got Moderna, 2 shots, but I've been vaccinated for a few weeks now.
All right. Well, how do you feel then?
After my first shot, I was really tired and my arm was really sore. I could barely move it. And I think I went to bed. I got it at like 11:30 or so on a Friday afternoon. And I think I went to bed at 6 p.m. and slept until like 7 a.m. I just hibernated for about a day. And then the second one, I didn't really feel any symptoms at all. I worked out for an hour afterwards. I just felt great. And maybe it's because I was just bounding out of the doors being like, yes, this is over. Your girl needs to get on an airplane. I've got to go somewhere and get out of here for a bit. So maybe my joy at getting the second shot just tempered any bad feelings I had.
They could have shot you up with nothing. It would have just been the placebo effect. And Michelle would have been like, yes, I am back. Let's go. The weather is warm. We are here.
I skipped out and no joke, I texted my friends on the group thread. I go, anywhere, anytime I am vaccinated. I invite me anywhere I'm
Give
going.
me all of the plans. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
And
I'll never say no again.
The calendar is booking up. I think I have 6 trips planned already from now until September.
I think we've got 2.
Yeah, I think
so. Yeah. Tourism
is about to be back, folks. Tourism is back.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I think what do you got? You're supposed to wait, 2 weeks for the thing to kick in? And then, I don't know. Am I supposed to carry my card everywhere? I don't. I'm
Yes.
probably not
No,
going
seriously,
to.
you are.
Oh, all
You're
right.
supposed to
Well,
carry it. And
sorry.
I got the advice to take a picture of it, both sides, and have the picture in your phone and email yourself a copy of it, because
That's what I'll do.
there's going to be places that you might need to show it to get into. I know that there might be some apps that are being developed, but I was told to treat that card with great care.
All right. Well, I will do that. But I'm probably not going to carry a physical card. I'll take a picture of it. That'll be good. I'll have it on my phone.
Oh, I have the physical card, because if I need to drop it and get on a plane and go somewhere at any point, here's the card. I can go.
This is no summer. The summer of yes for Michelle.
No, you know what it is? It's shot girl summer. Everyone's calling it shot girl summer. Yep. It's not hot girl summer. We're all vaccinated. It's shot girl summer.
We're ready to go.
Shot girl summer is going on a domestic tour. We're going to Miami. We're going to New York. We are going to Chicago. Who knows where else we might end up? We'll just have to wait and see.
Frozen frosé for everyone. That's what the summer is going to be about.
It is
me included.
It's going to be like Meg the Stallion and Frosé day in and day out. I can't wait.
Spring break nationwide.
All summer. For like 6 months. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so you mentioned the Carolina Panthers, Steve, and we were actually supposed to tape with a guest yesterday, but we had to adjust because big Sam Darnold, breaking news out of the NFL, and Steve is a big-time Ringer employee and had to drop everything for an emergency Sam Darnold pod. So we didn't really know what to do this week, and we had a couple ideas, but we're going to do an AMA later in the pod because the Shelleys always come through with the hot stuff. They always come through with great questions. But prior to that, I wanted to talk about this tweet that I saw from our friend of the pod, Adam Amin. You know him, of course, as the play-by-play voice for Fox. He's on everything. You see him all the time.
He's the Bulls too, right?
And the Bulls, of course. Yes, he's everywhere. He is so talented.
Just a Midwesterner at heart too. Look at him. Love
He's from Chicago, of course. And, just like all of us on this pod, Steve, we love Midwesterners.
I didn't know he was from there. I knew he was calling. So that brings it full circle. I love that.
He grew up watching Bulls games and now he's calling the Bulls. Isn't that so cool?
That's awesome. Yeah.
I know. So he tweeted this and I sent it to you. I posted it on my Instagram story. He said, the best advice I heard in the last year was from Jared Cohen on a podcast. He said that he tries to win the week. If every week is a 7-game series, he just wants to win 4 out of 7 days. How do you determine if you won the day?
That's deep.
I know. We're going deep here before we go to the AMA questions and really pivot.
Because I never think about days that way. Do you? At the end of the day, I never go, was this? I think you have a general feeling whether or not you were productive or not. I think I judge my days based on whether or not I was productive. Unless it's a weekend, then I don't really care. Then it's like how many cool things I did or how many games of FIFA was I able to sneak in. But if we're talking, the 5 days a week and then 2 days of a weekend, the 5 days of the work week, I'm thinking, did I get shit done? Did I contribute to whatever we were doing? Did I feel like a productive member of my team? And then that's probably what gives me the most satisfaction. That's probably not right, but that's kind of the first thing that comes to my mind.
So that's so interesting because I really marinated on this. I thought if I'm laying down at night and if there was a checklist that you had to do, did I win the day? Yes or no, every day based on these parameters, what would I consider to be a win? And I think a lot of people get caught up in the big picture of things and they get caught up in comparison to other people's lives. And they might think that a lot of days are an L when actually the days are a win, right? And so I put it out on my Instagram story just to see what people would say. I want to read you some other people's responses before I tell you mine. So someone said, not losing my cool with things or people that are out of my control. That's a win for me.
Okay, I try to do that every day and I try to preach that. Like, that's one of the things that Maddie and I talk about is like, she'll say something to me about something that bothers her. I'm just like, why? Who cares? Like, stop. Just, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. None of this shit matters. I mean, things do matter. Like there'll be smaller things, but I feel like I do actually a pretty good job of that naturally where I'm just like, why do I care about this? I don't. And then I just immediately stop thinking about it. So that's a good call.
Right. But isn't that such a great way to think about it? If I controlled my controllable aspects of the day and didn't let all this ancillary stuff get to me, that's a win.
And it's hard to do that with social media. And as you mentioned, like comparing yourself to other people. So that is like not an easy thing for a lot of people to do, but I think that is a good goal to have.
I agree. Someone said, I would consider the day a win knowing that I'm prepared for tomorrow.
That definitely would make me feel more comfortable going to sleep at night. And I would be like, okay, win if I know, tomorrow's not going to be like a shit show. So yeah, I could see that one.
Yeah, that's a good one too. So there's so many. I got so many responses. I'm just going to pull out a few. I loved this one. If I didn't mistreat anyone and stood by my principles, it seems too many people don't get that these days.
Are you mistreating people frequently? Like 3 out of the 7 days I mistreated someone, but 4, I had 4 that I didn't. So I get the win. That seems weird to me. I don't know.
But maybe, it's little things that you're not even very cognizant of. If you were maybe short with someone at work or.
Yeah, you're being a dick to a friend. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, or just little things that in the grand scheme of things don't add up, but maybe in that day you would look at.
That's a good one.
Someone said, when I have a relaxing, hold on, no, I don't want to use that one. Okay, this one. I feel like the day's a win if I'm happy and accomplish small set goals.
Yeah. I mean, happiness, if you're happy, you should be able to define your own happiness, right? I mean, and if you feel satisfied and you feel like your day was great, it doesn't really matter what other people think your day was like. If someone's like, oh, you only did this today, you sat on the couch all day and did this, if that makes you happy and that's like your day off or whatever, then hell yeah, you had a great day. That I don't let other people, I feel like there are so many expectations about like what you're supposed to do as an adult, like, right. Oh, you're supposed to, obviously you should work out and, let's go see the world and go hiking and do all these different things. But there are some days when it's just like, hey, yeah, I had a great day of just sitting my ass on the couch or just, I made a huge ass breakfast and watched some soccer in the morning. That makes me happy as a person. And then, yeah, I'm not doing a ton of things, but I think it contributes to my mental health. So I would check that for me as a win in the win column. Like, yeah, I had a great day. I can't do that every day, but yeah, like whatever makes you happy, that's really the only thing that should matter.
That's self-care, Steve.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I don't really think about self-care a lot, shocker, but I do feel like I practice it. I don't think or like try to do it. It just comes natural to me. And I know that's kind of like a luck thing of just how like my brain is wired. But for people that have to do that, just, find something that you like and stick to it. Like, who cares what other people think? The older that I've gotten, we've talked about this, Michelle, on the pod, the older I've gotten, the less I care about what people think about me. I really just don't care anymore. And I used to care a lot. And I think that's a lot of that about winning the day is just like, take care and control what you can control. Like, I don't believe in a lot of like, ideologies of like, oh, here's how you should live your life, but control what you can control is like a big one for me. And I do try to live by that.
Right. Last one. If I went to the gym and did not eat pizza, that's a win.
Well, see, no, I would argue that is a win on certain days. So that's BS. Like, if you went to the gym 5 days a week and then one day you didn't go to the gym and ate pizza, then that's a win. I don't know. So there's balance. You need balance here, Michelle. I've talked about this.
I agree. There was a lot of comments about lists. If I got X amount of tasks done off my list, or a lot of people saying if I ate healthy that day, that's a win. And I just think it's so intriguing to think about how you would judge your day as a win or loss, because there's so many things that you think about throughout the day where you get frustrated with yourself or down on yourself for something. But in the grand scheme of things, if you had to sign your name on the day, at the end of the day, what would really matter? Would it really matter that you ate a piece of pizza? Not likely. If you accomplished something you felt good about.
Maybe you earned that piece of pizza too.
Right.
Like, what? That doesn't make any sense to me, actually. So I don't know. I think if you're eating pizza 7 days a week, probably not a win for the week. But if you're eating pizza 1 day a week and you worked out 2 to 3 to 4 days the other days, then the week is a win for you, at least health wise. So I think it just depends. Some people put more pressure on themselves that way. I don't do that. But no, just because you ate pizza, that doesn't automatically mean the day is a loss. Totally. Most people would say that's a win. My wife would say that's a win.
I really thought about this very hard because I feel like I am very task oriented. I love a list. I love structure in my day. I am very hard on myself. I feel like prior to thinking about this, I would consider most days an L when they're actually a W. And then I thought about it. I really, really thought about it. And I was like, if I can lay on my pillow at night and I'm happy and healthy and my friends are happy and healthy and my family is happy and healthy, it doesn't really matter what happened during the day. It doesn't matter if I worked out. It doesn't matter if I ate kale or I ate ice cream. It doesn't matter if I had an awesome show at work and a great interview or I messed up a question. Like, at the end of the day, if everyone that you care about, including yourself, is happy and healthy, that's a win.
I think that I can't say any better myself. Yeah, I think that's, again, that's
right.
People put too much.
Shouldn't we just boil it down to that? Like, if
you don't have to define, you're saying you don't have to define it. Basically, it's a feeling. It's like, hey, if I lay my head down and I don't feel and I feel good about myself, then yeah, that's a win. And I there are most nights. Are there nights that you don't feel good about yourself? Like I feel like for the most part,
all the time. I'm very hard
really?
on myself. Oh my God, I am my
Oh,
own worst critic. You have no idea. There's nothing that anyone can say to me that I haven't already said to myself. And maybe that's because of my position in this world or in my life when you have people, it's like this big echo chamber of people saying all of these things to you all the time. And you absorb that on some level. And, I'm a hard worker. If I put my mind to something and I try to achieve it, I'm not very patient. So I get really frustrated and like
yeah.
hard on myself. But I think Adam and I both came to the conclusion that we're way too hard on ourselves. And maybe that's part of what propels us through life is being, self-critical. But if you actually take a step back and you really evaluate what is important and what really matters to you, most days are a win. Most days are a win.
And I think to your point, to close it out, most people who are hard on themselves, I think that's a good trait because it means that you give a shit and you're actually trying. And for the most part, I feel like the people that are the hardest on themselves are usually the best at what they do. So, don't be too hard on yourself. Like don't make it impossible for you to be happy, but yeah, test yourself. And if it's okay to not have a win too. You shouldn't go 7-0 every week. It's okay if you're 6-1, 5-2, but obviously try to keep it over 500.
Right.
Have a winning record here.
Sometimes though, being really hard on yourself, if you're someone that's really hard on yourself, it can be very isolating because if everyone else around you doesn't have that same vigor and they're not as hard on themselves, it's like a very weird position to be in. And, luckily for us, most people that we work with are of the same mindset that we are.
Yeah, but we
know
of people,
a lot of like-minded people, but it can be very frustrating at times.
We know people who probably are too hard on themselves. And yeah, you're right. It can be very isolating. You feel like you only have like a very limited circle of people that you can trust or that you rely on to really get tasks done or like help you in life. And that's pretty tough too. So it's like anything. You need a balance. And you shouldn't necessarily hold everyone to the same standards you hold yourself because if you hold yourself to a really high standard, you're going to constantly be disappointed, and then you're going to be probably miserable in your existence, and you don't want that either. So it's a balance. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting question, and I'm glad you brought it up.
Thanks. All right. Well, let's get to some other questions. Let's get to the AMAs. Thank you to all the Shelleys who sent in questions to my Instagram. This was a last minute pivot, but Steve, they always come in hot. They always come in with the best questions. This is why we're a family here. We love the Shelleys. Okay. I'm gonna put some things on the board for you.
Okay.
Would you like something about our work? Some life advice, taking a little page from Rosillo and Canal / Rosillo Now. A quirky question or a food-based question? Because we have a couple things that fit into those.
I want to lighten it up because it was just a little heavy.
I'm sorry, I really
let's do the quirky question.
Okay, quirky question. What song would be played during the opening scene of a movie about your life?
Oh man, this is a great question because I love music. I take music very seriously. At every single college party that I hosted, even with my roommates, I was a music czar. Like I controlled the iPod.
Oh, you're that guy.
I was that guy. Yep.
Oh,
yep.
That is
I fully admit.
That's the most off-brand thing about you.
I'm very particular. Well, no, it's not because I'm very particular and I'm very particular about what parties sound like and what songs are being played and the vibe there. And I want to make sure that the vibe is what I want it to be.
Yes. But you being a czar of any kind is off brand because usually you're like, whatever, go with the flow. Why are you trying to control everything? That's usually not you.
I take music very seriously though. Like I obviously love music. I love concerts. I have an eclectic music taste. I like just about every genre there is. And I also love music in movies. Like I'll like a bad movie if it has a great score to it. Because I'm like, oh, it feels great. Like one of the movies that I love, well, I don't love it, but I'm willing to forgive that it's a bad movie, but I actually like it, is Man of Steel, the Superman movie, one of the most recent ones with Henry Cavill. It's not a good movie, but the score was amazing. And I'm like, okay, the movie's actually not that bad because the score was good. So I take music very, very, very seriously. So this is a good question. And it's tough because what's the vibe of the movie? That's the question. It's about my life.
It's about your life. By the way, really quick aside about the scores of movies. I have been on a weird Hans Zimmer kick.
Oh,
Hans Zimmer
yes.
is the man. Okay. Hans Zimmer is a god among men. He is incredible. I pulled up a Hans Zimmer playlist on Spotify. This was all brought on by The Holiday. I randomly watched The Holiday, and the score in The Holiday is perfection, Steve. And I was listening to The Holiday and driving, and I felt so whimsical and just like filled with with randomness and like anything could happen, just like Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet in the movie. And then I just clicked on the Hans Zimmer playlist, and man, I let that thing ride, and my emotions were all over the place.
Well, you know, he does a lot of work with my boy Christopher Nolan, obviously.
Yes, I did find that out about him, but my God, is he a genius?
Gladiator, Inception, Dunkirk. I mean, this is a who's who of like my favorite movies of all time. Is Hans Zimmer's score is basically behind it.
So I should see more Christopher Nolan movies just because of Hans Zimmer.
Well, the two guys that I love that score movies that I think are the best, and I'm sure I'm forgetting, I'm not like a cinephile like Adnan or anything, but are Hans Zimmer and Trent Reznor, the former, obviously the Nine Inch Nails guy. He's a phenomenal composer as well.
The Social Network,
which was awesome. Great. That's one of my favorite movies of the last. That's one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. Period.
It's really good,
and the score has a lot to do with it. But yes, those two guys dominate, and it's an important part of it. Anyway, we've digressed. We're talking about scoring movies. I don't even know how we got here.
I'm sorry. I just want to shout out Hans Zimmer.
I love it because this is a pro Hans show. For sure.
You know what? This is a pro Hans Zimmer podcast. We should try to get him on the pod.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he speaks English. He's German. If he had to talk to Christopher Nolan, but I don't know if there'd be like a weird deal there, but I'm open to it because I love. Anyway, we've digressed. We no more of this. What's your song? What's your song? Do you have a song? Because I have two, but it depends on the mood of the movie.
So this, in a total upset, is not going to be Country Grammar by Nelly, which I think most people listening to this podcast had their money on, and that's a great pick. But I think when you enter a movie, it needs to be a little delicate at times. You need to introduce what the movie is going to be about. And I would like to think that a movie about my life would be centered around family and about heritage and about love. And so I'm going naturally, Steve, with a Frank Ocean song. And I'm going to go with Pink and White to open up a film about my life.
I know the song's a little bit, but I could have predicted you were going to pick a Frank Ocean song. I mean, I feel like any music question that's like, hey, what would you do in this scenario? You're like, oh, Frank Ocean this, Frank Ocean. Like it's just the Frank Ocean.
Oh, and yours is not.
Deal.
Oh, John Mayer is a god.
It's not going to be. Not on my list. Not Third Eye Blind. Not John Mayer. I have two songs that are totally different.
Oh, two. It has to be one. Yeah,
it just depends on the vibe of what the opening scene is like. If it's like a cool sort of scene where like I got buddies in here and I'm like walking and I'm wearing like a cool suit and I want to feel badass, I'm going Can't Tell Me Nothing by Kanye.
Great song.
It's a great opening song. I mean, it's maybe definitely top 5 Kanye songs, but maybe top 3, maybe top 2 if I'm really thinking about it. But then the other song, if it's like a chill, like more cool, laid back vibe, I don't know if you know this song, but Dear Mr. Fantasy by Traffic. It's like I think it came out in the 70s or the 60s. It was actually, my dad growing up used to play this song all the time. You'll know it if you hear it because it's a classic, just like guitar sort of strum at the beginning of the song.
What's it called? I gotta play it.
Dear Mr. Fantasy. And it was used, and I was mad because I actually used to think about this growing up. I love it. Yeah, go ahead. It's a great song.
Okay, I have another.
Do you know the song?
No, but I'm laughing because those two songs could totally not be more diametrically opposed from one another. And the funny thing about it is I can't picture a story about your life involving either one of those songs.
Oh, come on. I can't pick a John Mayer song because you make fun of me. And I can't pick there's no Third Eye Blind song. I mean, what am I going to Semi-Charmed Life? Probably not. That's not really the song I want to kick my movie off to. But I say Dear Mr. Fantasy was actually used in Endgame, the Marvel movie, obviously the final Endgame, the final Marvel movie. And I was kind of mad because
like I've seen it.
Well, yeah, we were discussing this and we were potentially going to do this as a topic because I watched, Godzilla versus Kong. And I watched the Snyder Cut, which are two definite nerd movies for sure. And you've never seen a Marvel movie or really a superhero movie ever in your life, correct?
Correct. None of them. You texted me, have you seen whichever movie that was? And I go, what is it?
The Snyder Cut.
Yeah, you described it to me. And I think my response was, I fell asleep reading that text. I have a zero interest in superhero movies. And I actually have a list of things that the general public likes that I personally do not like. I don't like fantasy sports. I don't care about putting together a fake team to cheer for when I have real teams that I need to watch and cheer for.
I like that. I respect that.
I don't care about superhero movies. I don't care about any of that stuff. Not interested. I've never played video games in my life other than the duck game, the duck hunt game.
You're personally attacking me right now. I feel
And maybe like a nary game of Golden Tee here and there, because we did have Golden Tee in my basement. We had NBA Jam in my basement, Steve, growing up, and I never played it.
What is wrong? Why?
The boys would come over and be like, "Yes, NBA Jam," and I'm like, "Whatever. I'll be watching now and then in the basement." Like, whatever.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's weird.
That's a bummer.
I do not wear jerseys. I don't understand the thought of wearing a jersey of someone else. Like, that whole thought is bizarre to me. There's just a whole list of things, a whole slew. I don't do TikTok. I'm not going to do TikTok. That was one of the questions, is are you and Steve going to get on TikTok? And I was like, no.
I'm actually on TikTok.
This feels like a personal betrayal. I thought we were in this together.
The only reason that I'm on TikTok, I haven't posted anything, but I'm on it because my sister Jocelyn will send me videos that are funny, because there are funny things on TikTok. Like, I've learned to realize that TikTok, and this is like, okay, boomer dude, it's like there are funny things on TikTok that aren't just like teenage girls dancing to stupid things that I have no interest in watching. There are like well thought out skits. My cousin is a comedian. He's on there and it's really funny. So it's easier for me when my sister sends me these things to just have an account. So I set up an account. I have an official account. I don't even know if it's my actual name is on there, so you probably can't even search me, but I do have a TikTok account. So I'm sorry to tell you, Michelle, I did it without you.
This is unbelievable.
I betrayed you.
This is a personal betrayal. You are now Judas Ceruti. I cannot believe you've done this to me. I thought we were in this together, that we were raging against the machine that is TikTok.
I mean, I don't partake in TikTok. You
have an account, Steve. You have an account. I
do. I know. I was also a late bloomer on Instagram too. I remember our good friend Dan Stanzik at ESPN. He's the one that convinced me to get Instagram, because I was like, I don't take pictures. Like, why am I going to get this stupid picture app? Like, it's dumb. I don't want it. And then he's like, no, dude, trust me. It's like it's way cooler than that. It's cooler than Twitter. It's cooler than Facebook. I was like, all right, man. If you tell me this, like, I trust you, I'm going to do it. I got Instagram. I really like Instagram, and now obviously it's probably my favorite social media platform. We're not quite there yet with TikTok. I'm not going to start like making videos of me like doing dances or like making skits about like how tough life is or something. I don't know. Although I do like the one where the guy mixes the paints and tries to guess the color. That's a fun one. So there's good moral of the story is there's good stuff on TikTok, and I had to get an account to check it out. I'm sorry.
It's one of those things that I'm inevitably going to have to do, probably for the job, but it just feels so heavy. Like, I can't have one more app that I need to open or care about. It's just like, I'm so overblown on content and other apps. I don't want another one that's going to suck away my time.
I know. I hate that everyone, like, this is going to sound like a dick comment, but everyone's now a content creator, and there are a lot of people that shouldn't be content creators. Like, let's just be honest. Like, you don't need to be we don't need to hear you on this. Okay. We don't need to see your video short about why you think you should be a stand-up comedian. Like, I just think, but okay, you're right. Like, it's another platform, but I think if you look over like time, right, you probably don't even go on Facebook anymore. Right. So we used to have three. It used to be Facebook it used to be Facebook, obviously, when we first started. Then it was Facebook and Twitter. And then it was Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you kind of stopped going on Facebook because it got weird, and your parents were on there, your grandparents were on there, and like political talk was on there. So it's like, I'm going to pass on that. And then now TikTok's in here. So I sort of find myself using Twitter and Facebook less, and Instagram probably more. And then I guess now I'm in TikTok too, so I'm using that more. I don't think you use all four. I mean, I'm sure there are people that do use all of them at the same time and like are constant content factories, but that would take up way too much of my time. You have to pick and choose which one you like, and I've kind of maxed out at 2.
Okay, well, we're back to the questions, but just know I am disappointed.
I'm sorry. Anyway, we got a long way of saying that. I apologize for doing that without you.
Okay. I just got a new one. I pulled it up and it says, no question, but hello from Morocco. I've been following you and Steve since your days with Rosillo from Morocco.
Shouts out. I mean, we're international. We knew this, right? But never been to Morocco. Always wanted to go. True story.
Shout out to our peeps in Morocco. This is a pro Morocco podcast too. Pro Hans Zimmer, pro Morocco.
Not two things we thought we would say at the start of the show, but yes, pro Hans Zimmer and pro Morocco.
Okay, Steve, do we want something about our work environment, some life advice, or some food?
Let's do life advice.
Okay, life advice. Should I live in a cool place I love or in a less cool place with the people I love?
Great question. Great question. I think it depends on your personality. You know, if you are a person who can make a million friends and makes new friends very easily, I think you should explore the world more and cities more and living in different places. Like I have a buddy who lived all over the country. I just think like, I think he kind of wanted to do it because he wanted to be that guy. He wanted to be the nomadic guy who like, oh, where's Mike today? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and Mike, I love you, Mike, but like,
Love you,
I've told this to your face before. It's okay. He's in Chicago now. Love Chicago. You've actually met him. We visited him. Everything is worked out. But for me, I think you get caught up and be like, oh, I live in this cool city or I'm here. But you live in, is it cool if you live in a 1-bedroom apartment or like you want to have a house? It just depends on what your personality is. So for me, I'd rather live in a place around people that I really like that I'm already friends with because I don't like making new friends. So one, that's true. And, I was never one of those guys that was like, oh, I just need to move to a city because, I want to be a city guy. I don't know. That was never kind of my vibe. So I think it depends on your personality, Michelle. I don't know. I feel like you are more adaptable than I am though. And you could probably, I'm interested to hear what you have to say about this because I don't really know what lean you would have.
I could make an argument either way because if you go to a cool city that you love, you could always find people that you love. And what if you're supposed to go to that city to meet someone that you love? A lot of people move across the country for jobs and end up staying there and loving it while also still having a home base of where they grew up. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your surroundings are. It matters who you're with. I mean, a lot of people probably think St. Louis blows. And to me, it's paradise because it's all of these people that I love are here. It has
Connecticut,
nothing.
You hate Connecticut. And I'm sitting here going, well, I actually kind of like it.
Connecticut. I don't hate Connecticut.
Well, I mean,
there were some redeeming qualities about Connecticut. I played the Connecticut hand all wrong. I am the first to admit it, even though I had some awesome times in New York, but I never really gave Connecticut a chance. And to be honest, when I moved there on day one, mid-July, and I turned on the news and I was like, let's see what's like popping with the local news in Connecticut. First story I see, and it was like, we're live from Boston where the last snow mass has melted. And I was like, what the fuck? It is July. Like, are you kidding me? I'm eating like a Subway sandwich crying. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I do?
I love that your first reaction was to put the local news on.
Yeah,
who watches the local news?
Someone that's moving to her new surroundings and wants to see what's up in Connecticut.
Don't put the local news on. I feel like, I don't know, read a blog. I don't do anything other than the local news.
What am I going to do? Like cool blogs in Connecticut? What blog are you going to look up that's like pro Connecticut?
Anything. I just feel like, what are you, 60? Like who watches local news anymore?
Steve,
besides like my dad.
I was living in, what is it called? Middletown, right? Middletown.
You were in Hartford, weren't you?
No. When I first moved there, I was staying at like a Days Inn residence.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Is it Middletown or something?
Yeah, that could be it. I don't know.
Whatever.
Southington, Middletown, whatever. Anyway.
Or maybe it was Southington. So I'm in like, let's just say the Southington like Days Inn. And let me back this up. One of my best girlfriends got married on a Saturday. I was in her wedding, bridesmaid. All my friends from college there, best time. There's always a come down from the wedding. My come down was that I had to get on the plane the next morning and move to Connecticut. I cried the entire plane ride. I was wearing a maxi dress and I was using it as a tissue. And no lie, Steve, the guy sitting next to me, you know how sometimes you can peek over and like see what someone's texting if you're really nosy, which I definitely am. I peeked over and he texted me, this girl's been crying the entire flight. Something is wrong with her. Like she is not okay. And I was like, I am not okay. So I land in Connecticut. I go to get my car, which had already been delivered. I drive to the Days Inn in Southington. I get a Subway sandwich on the way there. And I'm a hot mess.
Welcome to Connecticut.
What did I do? And I'm in this thing. I'm like, let's turn on the local news and see what's popping. And then literally nothing was popping except for a snow mass melting. And then you know what I did to soothe myself is I turned on the baseball all-star game. And I was like, well, thank God there's baseball in Connecticut. There's baseball everywhere I go. And that's what I did. I moved there and watched the baseball all-star game.
I'm depressed just hearing that. And
that was like the Tuesday or Wednesday, a couple days later. But those are the two things I remember watching on TV were in my like first few days in Connecticut: the baseball all-star game and the local news.
Yeah, and we wouldn't meet for probably, I don't know,
2 years.
It was 2
no,
years.
A year and a half.
No,
Maybe.
yeah.
A year. Let's
even
just say a year.
that even seems long, man. That's wild. Yeah, I mean, I would
No.
have shown you the way earlier. Maybe things could have been different. Maybe you'd still, I don't know, be hanging out in Connecticut. Probably not. But
Right. But back to the question.
Yeah.
I was in Connecticut and went to New York City every single weekend, and nothing is cooler than New York City. And I think if you're a young person and you're not tethered to anything and you want to move somewhere and have like a vibrant and dynamic life and potentially meet new people, then depending on where you are in your life, go for it, because you can always go back home. But if you're someone that maybe isn't as outgoing as Steve mentioned, and you know yourself and are moving somewhere to be with someone that you care about, then do it. You just have to really find out where you are in your life and what your main priority is.
Yeah, I think it depends. It depends on your age. Like, I don't know if I'd be moving cross country anytime soon as like a 32-year-old. I mean, it would depend on the opportunity, but and I'm also not that kind of guy who's going to be like, oh, I've never experienced this city, I want to live there for a year. I don't know. I just feel like that time in my life is probably past, but it doesn't mean that a younger me in a different life wouldn't have wanted to do that. But I do kind of, I don't know. I'm a little bit introverted, and I don't know. I definitely wouldn't do it alone. I don't think that would be tough for me. Doing it with, as a married guy with Maddie might be different because we could sort of experience that together. That might be fun. But it just, as you said, it depends on your personality. That's probably the biggest key.
Okay, let me pull these back up. We're at food, and we're at work dynamic, workplace environment.
Let's do food.
Food. Would you rather have, Steve, a margarita on a warm day or a hot toddy on a fall day? This is tough for you because I know you love a margarita, but you are Mr. Fall.
This would surprise you. It's margarita on a hot day.
Wow.
I'm not a big hot drink guy. I like coffee. Like, I love a good latte, cappuccino, give me an espresso all day, but I'm not really a big hot alcoholic drink guy. Like, I don't want a hot toddy really at all. And a margarita on a hot day just hits different. I'm sorry. It's like, that's prime. Check that off in the win column. That's a day. If you drink a margarita on a hot day, especially on the beach, that's a win for the day. Going back to our earlier conversation.
Big time win. When I did 75 hard and I couldn't drink, I love wine, didn't miss wine. I wasn't like, God, I can't wait to have a glass of Sauvignon Blanc. I would sit there and be like, you know what I want? I want chips. I want guac. I want a margarita. I want a good margarita on the rocks, salt on the rim. Give it to me now. That was like the one thing I was craving so much. I went to Mexico right afterwards. So I was like, I gotta have it.
100% agree. No salt on the rim, though. Don't like
See,
salt.
I love the salt. I like when I don't like lick the rim a lot, but I like when some of the flecks get in it. You know,
do people lick the rim? They like, ugh,
oh yeah, a lot of people lick the rim.
Why are you licking salt? That's weird to me. But no. So we're a clean sweep there. I don't know who would choose the hot toddy. That's a weird, I don't know.
Ski guys, snowboarding bros, people that love to operate ski with a hot toddy, maybe.
I'll tell you this: I'd rather have a margarita in the cold than a hot toddy in the in the cold. Give me a margarita in both scenarios, and I'll be fine.
You know, that surprises me too as Midwest Steve, because that means you have not had a Big Ten football experience in the cold in the fall. Because sometimes when you're standing in there in a stadium and it's cold as hell and you can't leave because you want your team to win and you get a cold drink with some booze in it, good.
No, but let's not pretend like we get snowstorms here in the Northeast. Like, it's cold as shit.
But
here
you don't have
to
be outside. You can shovel your driveway and then go back inside. And
well, there are things to do other than shovel the driveway,
sports.
Michelle, in the Northeast. Like, there are activities to do in the Northeast other than just like go outside and shovel.
Right, but you're choosing to be outside. It's not like the activity that you're doing is forcing you to be outside. Whereas, like, if I want to watch a football game in Champaign in late November, I'm going to be cold as hell.
I get your point, but
you could be watching a UConn football game. No judgment here.
Yeah, no. all five of the people at Rensselaer Field, they're probably going to be super excited about that one. I will not be one of them. But yeah, no. Give me margarita, hot or cold.
Okay, love it. All right, let's go workplace environment, and then we'll go random. Is there anything that you two miss about your experience of working in Bristol?
Like, specifically in the city of Bristol?
Well, there was two. We'll combine them, and you can choose which one you like. One person said, what is Bristol really like? And then the other one said, is there anything you miss about your experience of working in Bristol? So you pick. Which one would you rather do?
I'll answer both. There's nothing cool about Bristol at all.
Oh, I disagree.
What would you do in Bristol?
Oh, no. I think they mean like ESPN. Like, what is
no,
Bristol
I thought it was like the city itself. Like, Bristol is a weird place.
I think I think they're using Bristol as like a description of ESPN.
If it's ESPN, yeah, of course I miss Bristol. I miss going. You have to
I was
understand
like,
though,
wait, there's
Bristol.
nothing you missed about working
Okay,
there?
I rephrase this. Bristol and ESPN are very different things.
Yes.
Bristol is like a college campus in the middle of, I'm sorry, ESPN is like a college campus in Bristol. You're not really in Bristol when you're in ESPN. You're at ESPN. It's kind of like, it just doesn't, you know what I mean? Because Bristol itself is kind of a weird, strange place. I definitely miss ESPN, like parts of ESPN. I miss seeing the people that we were friends with, like Randy Scott. I've been seeing, obviously love Randy, Michael Jr., all these people, Twelman. Like we don't see them anymore. So that's one thing that obviously sucks about not being around. One of the most underrated parts about, it's not even underrated, it's one of the best parts about being at ESPN is that you're just like walking down the hallway and there'll be like a couple Hall of Famers that walk by you and you're like, wow, okay, cool, this is amazing. And it's just a casual part of your day when you go and like get a sandwich at the calf. So that I definitely think I miss. I miss putting together shows, I think, with you and Ryan.
I do too, big time.
And Danny and Van Pelt and Will. I really loved that part of the job. I love just sitting in a room together with people that you really trust and that you know are creative and just saying, what are we talking about today?
And what I miss too is like, I say, what about this with Sam Darnold? And you're like, well, how about we do this? And then Ryan will take what you said and is like, no, why don't we do this? And it's like, the pinging back and forth of creative ideas to land on the one thing that's going to be good. And like you said, it's very important that you trust the people you work with and you're in such an incubated environment there, but to really feed off of each other, I miss that big time.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to work on 2 different shows with just like awesome teams, including the hosts. One was with obviously you, and the other was with Van Pelt and Ryan and Stanford Steve and Ray, UConn Ray Netchie. What's up?
Love Ray.
And it's a really cool thing because it's. I think it's something that you assume happens all the time, that everyone just has chemistry and can work together, but it doesn't. It's really hard to come by, and so I do really, really miss that. And we've often said that sometimes the show is better in the pre-show meeting than it even is on the live show sometimes, because it's just more free. You can say whatever you want. Like, not that we were being super edgy, but like that's when like ideas were cooking and it was really fun to be a part of that meeting and be in that room. So that's probably the thing I miss the most.
I wish that those meetings could have been live streamed. Like if it could be behind a paywall, because there's like swear words that had to be said,
Yeah.
But that, you're right, it's sometimes better than the show, because I feel like it's such a glimpse into what it takes to put on a show every day. It's kind of amazing that there's been no reality show about putting together a sports talk radio show, because the people that work in sports talk radio are such characters. Everyone is nuts on some
Well, they
level,
tried,
but in the best way.
What's his name? Matthew Perry, didn't he do a show on one of the networks about, and it was basically loosely based off of like Cowherd, I think.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I mean, I think it lasted.
No, but like a reality show where
season.
They follow us around and they show the tension, and like us traveling when we were supposed to be in, Tallahassee, and we get stuck in Charlotte and we have to drive or just like our friend Elizabeth, who had to put on these live shows and all the work that it takes for 3 hours of content, like to do kind of a behind the scenes showing all the
let's do it.
Am I pitching it right now?
Yeah.
Wait, we need to get Rosillo to write this as like a TV pitch for us. But it's for real. Like, and think of some of the people we work with. Personalities through the roof. I think it would be a very entertaining show. If you can make a show about a boat and people like cooking and sweeping up after other people, you can definitely make a show about how entertaining it is to put on a sports talk radio show.
Yeah, just day in, day out. The people behind the scenes, I mean, I know for a fact people would love Nuno, who used to work on.
Oh my God.
They would love Bubba. Mikey C. Those guys would be stars.
Everyone would be obsessed with Bubba.
They would be stars.
Liam,
and
Ray.
I think we're onto something here.
I'm telling you.
It was different then, though. It's different now. Like, we were able to travel more, and radio shows were bigger, right? They were. We got to
pitch it now. We got to pitch it now so that when the return of sports talk travel comes back, we're ready to roll.
All right, I'm in. Listen, as long as I get an executive producer credit, I'm in.
Oh my God, me too. I love it. We just have to find the right show.
Yeah, TBD. We'll figure that out.
TBD.
Maybe it'll be our show anyway.
One thing that I miss, in addition to everything you just said, is I do miss the calf. Like, I miss having a place that you could walk to right by your work and get whatever you want to eat at any time. Like, oh, I want a salad, and it's 9 p.m. Guess what? Going to the caf. They're going to cook me up a salad. What were those energy bites that they used to have in the caf? You know what I'm talking about? The chocolate and the oatmeal and the peanut butter. Those energy bites that were like crack.
Energy balls. Yep.
Energy balls. I want some energy balls right now.
Yep.
Sure. Donuts, coffee, whatever you want at any. I mean, some stations would close, yes, at the nighttime, because I did work a night shift many a night. But I'll tell you what, that I miss. And like you said, it was like this very communal thing where you're there and you see all the people from First Take that you don't really know but can kind of see and be like, we knew before.
There were definitely cliques too. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's the radio crew. That's the.
It's definitely like Mean Girls, where it was like, we're sitting here. Those are the.
You can't sit with us.
You can't sit with us.
But we would never do that.
This casserole that fits me right now.
Can I just say really quickly before we move on? You know what sucks? Having to figure out what to eat every day. I hate that. And you're right. ESPN made that with the cap being there, made it very easy. Having to plan out meals is one of my least favorite things about being an adult.
Oh my God, it absolutely sucks. I'm cooking nonstop 24/7, especially if you're trying to eat healthy. You want to eat at home all the time. You don't want to just grab something and go. I don't know how parents do it. I think about this all the time. My friends that are parents and my own parents, God bless you. God bless you, because I only have to worry about feeding myself and maybe one other person and a dog. And I don't know how people find the time to cook 3 meals for multiple people and do their jobs and work out and be a good friend and do laundry or whatever else you have to do every single day. Where do you find the time?
My mom cooked for 5 every day. Like, we rarely ever got takeout. It was always home cooked meals. And that was just like normal. And I look back and I go, what?
Right.
How is that a thing? Like, I can't, I'm ordering takeout 2-3 days a week and it's me and my wife. That's it. Right. And like right now we're like, what the hell are we gonna do for dinner? I don't know. Just get takeout. Part of it is because it's hard to figure out like a new thing to eat every day. You know, I could probably eat the same thing for most meals every day. I could have leftovers for like an entire week. But it's like, oh, what should we eat this week? I don't know. Salads, pasta, sandwiches. I don't know. Like, it's always the same shit. It's just hard. Right. It's hard to be unique. And even cookbooks, it's hard. So anyway, underrated shitty part of being an adult, figuring out what to eat.
Totally. Okay, let's do one more. Let me X out of this and pull it back up. Okay. Would you like another food question? Or would you like a movie question?
Well, movie. We'll do the food one last.
What's your favorite rom-com?
It's tough to say one.
I know My Best Friend's Wedding.
I always like Definitely Maybe. I know that's like weird. That's the one with Ryan Reynolds, right? I believe. Let me look this up. It's been a while.
You must love it if you can't even remember who's in it.
Hold on. I'm not, shocker, just like you haven't seen a ton of Marvel movies. I haven't seen a ton of rom-coms. Yes, it is. Okay, Definitely Maybe, very good with Ryan Reynolds. Jerry Maguire kind of counts as a rom-com too, I feel like. So I like that movie.
I'll count it. Mine is My Best Friend's Wedding.
I've never seen it.
Never seen it. Steve.
Yeah, sorry.
There's a sports lane. You have to watch it.
What's the sports lane?
So Dermot Mulroney, who is the love interest, he is a sports writer, and he ends up getting engaged to a girl, Cameron Diaz, whose dad owns the White Sox. And Julia Roberts is his platonic best friend forever. They had one hot fling, but then they were best friends after for many, many years. And then he gets engaged to Cameron Diaz, and she's like, wait, no, I'm in love with him. He has to be mine. And so the whole movie is her plotting to break up their engagement.
See, when did this come out, though?
Good. Oh my God. Like,
see, this 90s. Seems like I think I might have just missed this one.
You're not going to miss it. Trust me.
10 Things I Hate About You. That's a good one. I'm just looking up a list right now.
Oh, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh, so man. Good. I saw that on our first date. That was a interesting one to see.
Wait, I saw that on a Valentine's Day date. We went to Hibachi, and then we went to see in high school How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
A very high school date.
Oh my God, it was so great. I thought we were like so in love.
I'm trying to think. I'm just going through the list really quick to see if there's anything that I missed.
You're probably missing so many good ones on the list. Is Pretty Woman count?
Yeah,
Steve, I
probably.
watched Pretty Woman the other day. So I wake up so early, and even on weekends, I can't sleep past like 6 a.m. And I didn't have anything to do one Saturday until like 8:30. So I'm laying there. I'm like, what should I do? I'm like, I'm gonna throw on a movie, like, an old movie that I love. I watched Pretty Woman, and I was sobbing at the end, sobbing. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I know
I
how
haven't.
this ends.
It's been a while since I saw that.
So good. Oh,
Clueless, another one. Clueless, great movie.
amazing.
Love that. And I think that's
Even
probably
though
about
it
it.
is kind of weird through the 2020 lens that she falls in love with her stepbrother and they make out
Yeah,
and
I guess
definitely hook
so.
up.
That is true. But I've actually been watching Arrested Development again recently because Maddie's watching for the first time. And that's also kind of a theme in that of George Michael and maybe. So
Yes.
it is what it is.
But spoiler alert, you know what happens with that.
Yeah. Well, it's all right.
So wait, are you guys off The Sopranos?
No, we just kind of watch that like on the side when we're like eating dinner or something. And we just
Okay,
need something
got
to
it.
put on because it's just great, like mindless television, even though it's brilliant.
Okay, last question for you.
Oop.
And Steve, this is from Squirrel Boy. Okay.
Shouts out to Squirrel Boy.
Shout out Squirrel Boy. SQRL Boy, BOI. Squirrel Boy. If you could be any type of bread, what would you be?
Wow. Oh man. First thing that comes to my mind is cinnamon bun. Does that count?
Yes, and what a great answer.
Yeah.
And you know what? Cinnamon bun wasn't even on my radar.
It's technically a bread. It's more of like a pastry, but it's a
Are you
bread.
talking about like a cinnamon roll with the icing?
Yeah. And then you peel off a little bit.
Oh my God, Steve, here I am thinking I'm going classic sourdough and you're going to
love sourdough too.
Rye. I thought we were talking about actual loaves of bread, and here you go pulling cinnamon roll out of your hat.
Well, if we're doing traditional breads, like the loaf of bread, then I would go rye probably. Oh, yeah. I love rye bread.
Rye's trash.
Rye's delicious.
Oh, I hate rye.
I love rye. Sourdough's good, but rye is delicious. Like as toast, I love it. Amazing.
So do you not have access to other breads?
Wait,
is that
what about?
happening?
I think I would pick a bagel now that I'm thinking about it, though. I'd pick a bagel. Does that count as a bread?
You're just picking like forms of bread.
Well, it's a bread. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought we were going like whole grain, whole wheat, rye, classic white Wonder Bread.
Is bagel not bread? Bagel's bread. I don't know.
Italian loaf.
I'm twisting the rules a little bit. If we're going okay, if I'm thinking traditional breads, then too. So we rye, and then what is the Outback pumpernickel comes to mind? That's pretty good too. What? It's great. It's like it's so soft. You get a little butter in there. It's awesome.
You have gone from cinnamon roll to rye to bagel to Outback pumpernickel.
I love bread. What do you want me to do? Sue me. If I eat bread, chocolate, that's a win. That day is a win. Period. If I'm eating bread.
When is the last time you had the Outback pumpernickel? Is what I really want to know.
I have no idea. No, absolutely no idea. I mean, decade ago, easily. But in my mind, it's delicious.
There's this place in Chicago. I think if memory serves me correct, it's called Q. It's a barbecue place, and they have this great,
unique,
fluffy roll with honey butter, and it's the best honey.
I love honey butter.
It is so good.
Well, now if we're opening up other kinds of bread, cornbread with honey butter is also delicious.
Oh, cornbread's a good call.
Yeah, but that's again, I put that in the category of like bagel and cinnamon roll. It's not really traditional bread.
Yeah.
More desserty, really, but it's delicious.
Did you say cornbread is desserty?
It's kind of desserty, yeah.
You're eating cornbread for dessert? I'm eating cornbread with chili as the vessel to eat my chili with.
Well, cornbread, I feel like when I go to a barbecue place, I always get cornbread, and that's the thing I eat last with honey butter as kind of like my dessert. It's sweet. What? I don't like being judged right now.
With this bread, I'm not judging. I just think it's like an incredible way to look at cornbread. I have never viewed cornbread as a dessert ever in my life.
It's adaptable. I think in the same way that I could eat a bagel for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I could eat cornbread for probably breakfast, lunch, and dinner as well, and dessert. So there you go. It's versatile. Get you somebody who could do both.
You could eat a bagel for dinner?
Yeah. Oh my God. I could eat a bagel any time of the day. Doesn't matter. Bagels are delicious.
You know what I miss is a good bagel sandy from New York, from like a bodega. Just get a bagel sandy. Ugh, get me there.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Well, listen, vaccinated up, we're ready to go, ready to travel the country and do this thing.
That's right. Okay, so you're landing on Outback pumpernickel as your
answer? No,
answer?
I think if I'm going traditional bread, it's either sourdough or rye.
Okay, I want a great Italian loaf, but specifically hot, cut in slices that you dip in the oil and Parmesan cheese mix, and you do a little scarpetta action there. That's what I want.
That sounds good too. You can't really go wrong with bread. So
We love
other
bread.
than an olive loaf, we'll skip an olive loaf. I don't want an olive loaf.
I'm not mad at
Focaccia? Oh my God.
Oh
now,
my
now
God.
I gotta rethink everything.
Focaccia coming in hot.
This is
Oh
a
my
terrible
God.
question. We could talk about, I could do an entire podcast on bread, to be honest with you.
Should we do the bread episode and talk to a baker?
Bread rankings. Yeah, we'll do the bread draft.
Oh my God, if we did the bread draft, well, now you're putting cinnamon roll in there.
There's too many variables. Yeah, because too many things are bread. Like bread sticks are bread.
Are you calling mozzarella sticks a bread? It's breaded cheese.
Yes. Well, no, that's not bread. Come on. No, it can't be. No, it has to be baked and, in an oven.
But it's pieces of bread that have been broken down.
Yeah, you've gone too far.
Around cheese and baked.
You've gone too far. No, it has to be in its original form, baked in an oven. Yeah.
Fine. We'll go there.
This isn't like an evolving Pokemon.
Another thing I don't give a shit about Pokemon.
That's why I dropped it in there. You're good.
Also, when we were growing up, didn't play pods. Everyone else was like, oh my God, or pogs or whatever they were.
Pogs, like the little things.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
What did you do as a child? Like, I
never had a Tamagotchi.
I actually had a pog maker where you would stamp like something that was like a piece of paper and it would make a pog for you. So I used to stamp my old baseball cards that like weren't valuable at all. So I'd have like Harold Baines pog. It would be amazing. Yeah. So what's up? Love pogs.
Okay, great. Well, put it on the list.
It's a little glimpse into my childhood. What's up?
There you go. We probably wouldn't have been friends growing up.
Yeah, I always tell Maddie that it's probably good that we didn't meet when I was in high school or college because she probably wouldn't have liked me. And I was kind of a tool, so it's fine. I was cocky, arrogant. It's fine. I'm willing to admit that. It's okay. Sometimes you just got to call it like it is. But yes, it's probably a good thing that you did not meet younger Steve. He was a little arrogant.
I'm glad you've evolved. We'll put it
Thank
that
you.
way.
Yeah, you live, you learn.
Well, this one went a little long, so no review. But if you haven't already, please head to Apple Podcasts, search for Small Talk, subscribe to it, rate it, preferably 5 stars, and leave a review. Steve and I will be back in action next week. We're going to have a guest next week. We're going to talk to Jason Fitz of ESPN. We're so excited to catch up with Fitzy, of course, from Spain and Fitz, but we're going to talk to him about music and about his life at ESPN, all sorts of fun stuff coming up next week. Like I mentioned, Steve and I will be back in action then. But until then, peace out, Judas.
Shut up, Brett.
Thanks for listening to Small Talk. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts or the Podcast One app.